fine tune the muscles of the core to work in the way you want them to work to alleviate the pain.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, I guess why don't we get started by you telling us a little bit about what you do and how long you've been doing this, how long you've been having this chronic lower back pain.
So my name is Dexter Lambie. I am 30 years old. I currently do landscaping. I don't necessarily do the physical labor as much as I used to, but I still do some occasionally. It's more managing, but um, I would say the pain has been going on since 2000 and probably 13 or 14 when I started just getting a lower back problem in general back in college from just lifting a ton for football and sports and stuff. Um and then it just kind of would get worse, get better, get worse, get better, and it was never great. And then found your page and found you and problem solved.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, what would you say? How bad was your pain before we were working together?
It was probably like on average like a solid like 7 to 8 typically if I had to guess. Now it's like a 0 to 1, 0 to 2, worst case scenario. Like today I have no back pain, so it's just it's relief.
That's awesome, man. And what have you tried before to kind of a temporarily alleviate your pain?
Tried massage therapy, physical therapy, chiropractor. I never was gonna try and get surgery or take medications or anything, but I figured, just like physical therapy and all that stuff, but it was temporary, and they want you to keep coming back and all that. But it's like, yeah, the goal was always a long-term fix because it's just, I like to be able to take care of it on myself or on my own. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what would you say, like, how long you've been going to, massage therapy, chiropractor, and physiotherapist?
Probably like 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And how many sessions you have?
I mean, I wouldn't maybe a couple a year. So it wasn't like weekly or monthly or anything. It was just like when my back would have an issue, I would try and go get it and it would be fine for a while and then it would just come back and it was always a temporary fix. It was never permanent.
Yeah, so I think kind of adding on to that, what would you say the biggest difference between the exercise that we do versus the exercise you try with your physical therapist or all the exercise you tried before?
I think the difference is that you guys, I don't know if you have a team, but you guys, it's the specialization, I think, because like you said, mine, my problem was not the normal problem of what you see, but you guys still have your exercises to help pinpoint that accordingly and work with individuals as opposed to just a cookie cutter like do this, do ABC, let's see how it goes, la la la. But I think this was more of a tailored approach. Like like you noticed that my side was wonky or whatever, so you're like, let's do the left side and fix that because it's not balanced. So i think they I think that was known by my chiropractor and physical therapist and all that stuff, but I don't think that they knew the proper things in order to fix it or fix it long term. And maybe they did, but obviously in their business, fixing it long term isn't going to keep a client coming back. So, you know, but I think the main thing and your exercises are good. They work. They do what they need to do. So that's beneficial as well. So not only is it tailored, but it's tailored and it works.
Yeah, for sure, man. And one thing I do want to say is we talk about breathing exercise a lot throughout the exercise. And you told me before that I think one of your massage therapy also mentioned that right? So, like, what would you say the importance of breathing exercise throughout your whole journey?
Oh, it's the most important thing. I honestly think that if even if you didn't do like the exercises, I think if you just practice sitting or laying in the position, at least one of the positions that you give, and just focus on the breathing, I honestly think that in itself helps a lot. Just from expanding, your rib cage and your back and all that to then you like you guys say with the side abs to start work that stuff down. I think so many people are belly breathers, and we've been, at least I was told at some point in my life, to breathe through your diaphragm, which turns out is a bad idea. And if I had to guess, that's probably why a lot of Americans have beer bellies, is because their diaphragm is pushed out. The ribs, it's just, that's how they breathe, and that's why everybody's driving around with their mouths open, because they're mouth breathing too. And I don't think that has positive effects on, back things. And I mean, sure, your videos say like, you're not working core per se, or you have a weak core. It's just, you got to fine tune the muscles of the core to work in the way you want them to work to alleviate the pain.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the point where I want to adding a little bit more because I think before you even join a program, or I think most people will think they have low back pain maybe because their core is weak or their glute muscle is weak, but not necessarily right, right? Just your
No,
muscle
it's
is
just,
working
I think it's,
in the
I
right
think it's
positions.
whatever you guys have pinpointed, those muscles need to be trained to do XYZ in order for everything else to be good. Because I mean, I feel like you could probably be an overweight, out of shape person and still do some of this breathing stuff and feel relief, even though your muscles are trash. I think it's just retraining the muscles that you do have to do what they need to do in the right function, right functional manner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And so what would you say you men said before joining the program? I know you must be, pretty skeptical, you've tried every
Honestly, there's just you run out of solutions. So it's like, if you have the money and you're able to do it, why not? Because worst case, you're back to where you were. There's no other options, because it's like, like I said, tried physical therapy, tried chiropractor, massage, la la la, and nobody knew or wanted to solve the problem long term. So saw your ad or whatever, your page, and I was like, all right, worth a shot. And here we are. Because I mean, to me, this all makes logical sense. Like I said, the physical therapist, he had always touched on breathing and stuff like that, but not to this depth or extensiveness. So, you know, I think once I found out that that was actually tied to it, especially me hearing two people say it. I don't know you, but I know my massage therapist. I've known him for 20 years. So it's like, when you hear the same thing being said by two people, you're like, maybe it is legit. And it is.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. And what would you want to say to those people, maybe who are listening to this right now, but still on the fence? What would you want to say to those people who are maybe looking for a leg up?
Just try it. Like, it's not, your back's not going to get worse. Like worst case, you stay the same. Best case, you get fixed and you don't have any more back problems and you can live your life pain free again. And I did do a little sprinting this morning.
Ah,
So we
that's
back.
that's awesome, and that's awesome. So what would you say, having this pin-free body, having this pin-free lower back, to change your daily life or to change the quality of your life?
It didn't necessarily change stuff. You just move uncomfortably. And it takes time to learn to move without pain, because walking, you're like, oh, if I maybe step this way, that's gonna, shoot a pain, or if I bend over, that's gonna shoot a pain. So it's like, the hardest thing for me recently has been just like moving and understanding that that movement is not going to cause pain, you know? So it's like getting back into fluidity, because it's like, you know, you walk like you have a stick up your ass, because you're like, shit's gonna hurt when you move, you know, a certain way. But now that's not the case. So you gotta like kind of relearn how to do things in a normal manner, because it's like, you know, it'd be like given your dog does something and then you hit it, and then that dog's not going to do that again. You know, that's kind of like we've been conditioned, like if I do this it's going to hurt, so don't do that, or do it a different way. So um yeah, I think that's like the main thing. Just do it. Just it will help.
Awesome, man. Is there anything else you want to add at the end?
It boils down to how much you do the exercises, how well you do them, and that's pretty much it. Like, and it's not hard physical stuff. You're literally laying on the floor, breathing, you know? If you can't do that, then you obviously don't want to fix your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, looking back on it, it'd be a no-brainer, because problem solved, and that's success.